Hello everyone, just wanted to go ahead and introduce you to Portal within a Portal in FileMaker and show you the techniques that were used to accomplish this and hopefully get some feedback to see what everybody thinks. Alright, so you can see here we've got a customer's layout, we've got related invoices, and then we have the portal within a portal, which has the item details, basically our invoice line items. And then we have a set of buttons to basically accomplish scrolling within the portal. This will give you a page down and a page up. We can see that the data refreshes, and it appears that we're scrolling even though technically we're not. And then we can go and verify this invoice number has these line items by clicking here. Get the same line items, same information. How this was accomplished was through the use of some repeating fields, and then some SQL queries that were used to build, were used with a custom function to build a JSON block per invoice record. So basically what it does is it queries, each field queries a specific field within the invoice line items, so item description, quantity, and then it goes ahead and creates an array of JSON records with the data. And then the way we're accomplishing the scroll feature here is basically a counter field that increases the index that we're looking at based on the calculated repetition of each field. And so what it does is when you scroll down, it increases that counter field by 1 in addition to whatever. So we've got 5 rows here. This would be number 5 plus the 1 would give us 6, and then as we go it would continue. And then the page up and page down basically increases that counter by 5, achieving a scrolling effect even though technically we're just refreshing the view here. So let me show you a few things here. Basically everything here is modular, so we've got our ID field, it's a SQL query. The reason I went this way, initially I went with SQL queries with unstored calcs. Obviously that's not a great idea, but to prove the concept it worked. So what I decided to do was create kind of like a preference table and store each of the calculations and kind of generically name them field 1, field 2, field 3, and then obviously the ID field for the invoice line item. And the reason I took the ID field wasn't for display, but it was so we could go ahead and allow for editing of that portal row, which I'll show here in a minute. So what I've gone and done is basically created the SQL queries. Good thing is if a row comes in empty, when this recursive function goes along, it's just going to give a blank value for that, so it's not going to display any data there and won't mess up counts with any of these other calculations, so that way all the data lines up the way it's supposed to. My guess is, and this would probably be the easiest way to accomplish it, if you needed to do sorting as well, you probably just do it in the SQL query here and do sort by field, ascending, descending, however you need to set that up, but that would be probably the easiest way to do that there. So then if we go back to our customer layout here, can see we've got the repeating fields. This button here is just going to pop open a card and will allow us to edit there, so I'll go ahead and show that to you guys now. So if we go, let's pick one here, get 9, total of 515 per each. We'll bring this down to 2 and hit done. We can see that that's now gone down to 2. Invoice total, everything's updated. It can be done locally and works pretty fast. Refreshing the data, I found obviously if you push it to the server it'll be a little bit quicker, but performance so far with testing has been decent. Running it locally as well. And then let's go ahead and show the calculations here. So for the actual display of the data, we're storing the JSON, which is done on either the local or PSOS script. It's a recursive function that builds the JSON block with evaluating those SQL fields. Basically, we're validating that the JSON is first valid, and then we go ahead and we grab the correct field based on the field name here, which is what it's referencing in the recursive function, and then we get the repetition number plus the counter field, and then we subtract 1 because JSON indexes start at 0, so we've got to subtract the 1 to get those to line up correctly, otherwise you would never see the first record of JSON. So we're going to go ahead and cancel out of here. And then we'll go ahead and again we just get the page up and page down. I think it does a pretty good job right now of accomplishing the feel of a portal within a portal. There'll be future updates to come. Please provide any feedback and comments in the section below, and hope everybody enjoys.